Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Tilly Murphy here on the line, part of the Learning Services team. Hello and welcome. We're going to be getting started in just a few more minutes here, folks. 5 more minutes until the top of the hour. Hello and welcome to everyone who's been posting in the chat. Thank you so much. Looking forward to meeting everybody this upcoming fall season with our training tour. And I do see some of the fine folks I've met back in the fall. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very excited about our webinar today, Canva for Social Posting. Now, hopefully, folks, if you did join us for the live workshop that we did back in the spring, we did touch base on Canva. So this is a free online tool that we can utilize as part of our marketing plan. So hopefully this is not your first time interacting with Canva, but we'll be definitely doing a great overview for you folks today. And I'm going to show you some wonderful tools and options that you can utilize here within the platform. So just a few more moments here, folks, before we get started. Feel free to type into the chat window whenever you have a question. I do have Mike Robel here, Manager of Learning Services, that's going to be monitoring the chat just to make sure that we don't miss any questions from you folks. Okay, so just a few more moments until we get started. All right, folks. Thank you again for your patience. Once again, my name is Tilly Murphy, part of the Learning Services team here for Royal LePage. For those that have just joined us, thank you so much for taking the time to join us for this 1 hour webinar. We will be recording this, so there will be a recording available should you need to step away or leave a bit earlier. Basically, folks, for the format, it's going to be about a 45-minute to a 50-minute presentation, and then we're going to leave about 10 minutes at the end for any Q&A. But if you do have any questions throughout today's session, feel free to ask your question in the chat window. We have Mike Robel, who is the manager of the Learning Services team here monitoring our chat window. So feel free at any point to post in there. So folks, Canva. This is a program that we introduced to you fine folks during our spring workshop. So if you had the chance to join in our live workshop this past spring, we did show the Canva tool, very high level. We actually used it to create our vision boards, if you folks might remember. So Canva's actually a really great tool. I had a lot of fun playing around with it. What this is something that you can utilize as part of your marketing. There is many options that we're going to look at here today as we go through our presentation. Now, before we get started here with Canva, has anyone actually continued using Canva? Do we remember what it is? Let us know in the chat window here, and we'll come back to that as we start working through the presentation. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here, folks. So looking at our agenda today, what we're going to be looking at is understanding what is Canva, creating an account, and what you're going to encounter with your first login. We are going to create designs from scratch. We're going to look at utilizing the templates that they have. They have thousands of templates for free that you can utilize because, you know, not all of us have that artistic or, you know, that design eye. So that's why we're actually looking at leveraging a product such as Canva, looking at sharing projects with a team member or teammates, and then using the Canva on mobile platforms such as Android and Apple. So let's look at what Canva is. So this is actually an online product. It's a simple to use graphic design platform. It's really nice because it has simple features, click and drag. Even if you've never designed anything, you have no idea what Photoshop is. That's okay. I've only ever used Photoshop to cover up my blemishes. But Canva, on the other hand, this is so much easier to use. You don't necessarily have to unload quite a lot of money to use this program, and there's lots of great features that we can play around with. So with Canva, it is, there are two versions. There's a free version that we all had the choice of using during our workshop. So once again, if you were in the spring workshop, we used the free version, lots of options. It doesn't really cut out any of the fun aspects of it, if you will, but there's also a paid version. So let's look at the free version. With the free version, you're able to invite up to 350 team members for free. You can collaborate with your team. You do have a gigabyte of storage where you can upload any of your own photos. For instance, there is, of course, a great library that you can leverage within Canva and access over 8,000 templates. So once again, these templates are already designed for you, and you don't have to necessarily start from scratch. Now, moving on to the Pro version. So this is the paid version. And with this, you get everything that is part of the free Canva version with a little bit more add-ons. So of course, you can still upload your own images. Where it gets a little bit better, if you will, air quotes around the better for Canva Pro, you can resize any of your designs. So let's say if you started off with a Facebook post and you want to resize your design for, let's say, a postcard. Canva can automatically do that for you without jeopardizing any of your designs in the images that you're working with. Now, you could also upload custom fonts based on your brand. You do get priority support. You can save more templates for you and your team. So there's just a little bit more. Of course, you get unlimited access to more photos, more templates. It's just unlocking a little bit more for you to leverage. So that's why there's always, a paid version or some sort of subscription. So now if we look at the cost here, and you'll see here at the bottom, we have cost, it's a monthly subscription similar to what we might be currently using. Let's say our Netflix. Netflix we have on a monthly subscription. A lot of our memberships are based on monthly. So if you feel that you don't want to commit to a yearly subscription, perhaps month to month might be better. Please note that this is in US dollars. Okay, so it's $12.95 US per team member per month. Now, if this is something that you're all gung-ho about and you're ready to commit to a full year, you do get 23% savings. If you do subscribe for a whole year, it will be $9.95 US per month. Now, there is a third level, if you will. So let's say we have, actually in the chat, folks, let me know if there's any teams here. When I was on the road, I've interacted with a number of teams that they're saying that they love Canva. They think it's a great tool. So if you folks are, or if we have any teams on the line here, let me know in the chat window, because if we do have some teams that are looking into perhaps utilizing the Canva Pro option, if there are team members of 20 or more, they have additional discounts, but at that point they ask you to call into their customer service so they can work one-on-one with you and your own dedicated account manager. All right, so logging in and creating your first account. Now, it's very simple to create an account with Canva. Basically, you would be going to canva.com. So we would have already done this in our workshop, but for anyone that is joining us fresh to Canva, basically, we go to the website. This is going to be the landing page that we see. And there are a number of options that you can sign up with Canva. So what we see down here, you can sign up using your Facebook account, sign up using your Google. This is actually one option that we recommended during the workshop, seeing as we already have Google Suite account products that we interact with. So it just has all of your information ready and stored. Or the third option here, folks, if you don't wish to use your Google or your Facebook, you can use your personal email to sign up. Now, in this option right here, I just opted to use my own personal email. But very simple. You add in your first and last name, the email address that you want to use to log in. So your email address is going to be your username to log into Canva. And please ensure that you have a nice, strong password. Canva will let you know if it's a strong password. If it's weak or moderate, the program actually won't let you create an account unless you have a strong password. So that's nothing new to us. We all know we need first and last name, capital, special characters, firstborn child. They make these passwords a little bit more difficult, but of course it's for our own protection. Now, when we do create our profile, what happens here is we're taking to this page here. Basically, Canva is asking you to identify what type of profile are we creating. Now, what we have is teacher, student, personal, small business, large company, or nonprofit. Now, my recommendation here, folks, because I know that they're going to be using these profile types to market to you. So what you could choose to do, if you just want to interact with the free option, you can choose personal or perhaps small business. Okay, so that option is for you to choose. Now, once you select what type of profile, you're going to be logged into your account, but this is the first initial page. So for anybody that signed up to an account during the workshop, you would have already interacted with this page. But if you're brand spanking new, first time using Canva, this is what's going to show up here. And basically, it's just giving you a quick overview. Here's all the designs that we can play with, right? And it's nice that right up at the top, it says popular for personal use, right? Because when I created my profile, I said it was going to be for personal use. If, let's say, we created a profile that was a small business, well, they're going to gear some of those templates a little bit more to your needs. So just consider that, folks, when you're creating your profile, if you want to use, let's say, personal versus small business. Now, once you create your account, you will get an email saying, please confirm your email. You can still use Canva without confirming your email. What will happen as soon as you say confirm my email, that's where the communications start getting sent out. But of course, there's always an unsubscribe option that you can adjust in your account settings should you not wish to receive any of those marketing emails from Canva. Okay. So right now, folks, I'm going to go live into Canva. And remember, at any point, should you have any questions, type them into the chat window here. And Mike will be able to help you out there. Okay. So right here, folks, I'm on canva.com, and I'm already signed in here. This is going to be your main dashboard. So after your initial login, when you log in again into your Canva, what you're going to see is the following. Left-hand side, you're going to see your profile. If we take the drop-down menu, we're going to see account settings, profile, the ability to sign out. We'll get to Teams in just a moment. If we want to just get started with the design, we can say create a design, or we can even utilize our search option right here. The nice thing is, I'm a big browser. If this is the first few times you've interacted with Canva, go through it, click on every button, every option. I always say, try to break the system. That's the best way to get comfortable with a piece of software. Now, if you actually break Canva, good for you. Let them know. But chances are you won't break anything. If anything, it will just get you more comfortable with all the options and where they're located. So let's start off here with a design. Okay, let's start off with looking at a design or creating a design here from scratch. Now, when I click into my search bar, I have something called suggested. So it's a drop-down menu that's going to give me some design options. And what do we see here? We have Facebook post, we have a poster, and it's very nice because when you hover over the option, what you're going to see also is the dimensions. So you know exactly the size that you're working with here. Lots of options. This is just at a quick glance here, right? So we can make a Facebook cover, we can create an Instagram post, logo, flyer. So if you folks joined us in for the workshop in the spring, what we used was a flyer because it's your standard 8.5 by 11 dimension size. So what I'm going to do, just to keep things simple, I'm going to use a flyer design. Now, what you would have noticed, anytime you go to create a brand new project or a design, your web browser will open up a new tab. So it's great that we could actually have multiple tabs open with different designs that we can just toggle through. So you're not losing anything here, folks. So we have our brand new tab, right? I'm creating something from scratch. So of course, my page is going to be blank here. But before we get started with our design, let's talk about the options that we have here in the left-hand side. Starting here with our templates. So I selected flyer, and all I'm going to see here under my templates are designs I can start working with. Okay, so we have lots of options here to choose from, and we'll get to customizing a template. First, let me show you how you can create something from scratch. So we're going to jump down from templates, and we're going to see this option here called elements. Okay, with elements, these are all sort of designs that we can insert into our design that we're working with. So one thing that I typically like to start off with is something called grids. Grids allows me to break down my design into, let's say, little boxes, if you will. So what we have here, okay, different little design grid options to choose from. I'm going to choose this one right here. Nice and simple. I have one large square, or I should say rectangle on the left-hand side, and then 3 smaller segments on the right-hand side. Okay. At any point, we could always choose a different one. Let's say, oh, Tilly, I'm not a big fan of this one. How do I choose a different grid? Select by clicking on the space, and you're going to see some options here. Okay, right? So we can delete it. There's a little garbage can, top right-hand corner, and you're going to see this option called Delete Grid. So perhaps if I wanted to insert a different option, right? So instead of having my 3 squares on the right, I wanted them on the left. I can do that, no problem. All right, so now we have our squares. The great thing about this, folks, is anything that you click on, you can adjust, you can edit. So let's say this particular box here, I want to change the background color, for instance. Right? Let me show you how I did that. I clicked on the area. I go up to the top left-hand corner, I click on color, and I can choose any default color, or per se, let's say I have a specific color I want to put in. I know that the Royal LePage color is EA002A. Okay, so that's our special code, Royal LePage red. As soon as I click on this, my backdrop, I should say my background has been changed. Okay, nice and easy here. Coming back here into the left-hand side elements, okay, I'm just going to go up to the top where I have my search bar because I had grid. So if I click on this X, it's going to take us back here into our previous listing that we have. So other elements that we have available, folks, like I said, they're just design options that we can put in. So what I'm going to do is build out from scratch. Let's do an open house. I'm going to do an open house here, a new listing. Very quick, very easy. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to change this background to white. Okay. Now, if let's say I want to insert my own photos, right? I took some great photos of this new listing. I want to create a new listing post for my Instagram or my Facebook, for instance. How would I do that, Tilly? Left-hand side, you have this option called upload. So it's like a cloud with a little arrow pointing up. It's a very commonly used icon for the cloud. What you have right here, folks, top is upload an image or video. And this is really great, especially if we have some of our photos on our Google Drive. I put everything on my Google Drive so you can access your G Drive from your computer and insert any of the photos that you would like to work with. Okay, so I have my library available here of all of my photos from my listing. Now, how would I insert it? All right, very simple. So here on the right-hand side, I have those 3 boxes. So I have a few photos that I want to be able to insert into the right. If I click on one of my boxes and I say, okay, perhaps I want to insert that photo. Click and drag. Super easy. Let's do another one. I click on the option. It arrives here on the right-hand side. Click. And you can see no matter where I move it, Canva wants to sort of auto lock it into a specific box. Hence why I prefer to work with grids, because it's just easier when everyone has its place, if you will. And then let's insert one more image, right? Comes up here, putting it into the right. So now that we have our images, let's say, oh, well, perhaps I have, I'm actually just going to zoom in here for you folks. My rocking chair is cut out a little bit. So let's say I want to adjust it. Double clicking on the image, you can see now that we have the ability to resize it, for instance, or I can just move it into a more appropriate area. Okay, and same with the other ones. Just when you double click on the image, you'll see that everything else is grayed out and you can make the adjustments as required. Okay, perfect. So now I have my images, but Tilly has nothing here on the left-hand side. So what should we insert in this blank space? Perhaps some text, right? We have to let people know where this listing is. So this is where I'm going to take your attention here, folks, to our text area. Now, the very cool thing about Canva is that it already has preset text for you, so you can actually manually add in a heading, a subheading, or just a little bit of body text. Me, on the other hand, I like to add some character. Let's get crazy. Let's have a good time. It is time to celebrate. Yes, I agree. It is time to celebrate. So I selected a preset template, text font, if you will, and of course, it inserts itself here into my design. So just like before, folks, anything that we insert, we can edit. Of course, it's not my birthday. Well, I feel like every day is my birthday. It's something to always be excited about. But alas, no, my birthday is in September. We still have some time. So just like before, I can resize it. And it's nice that it takes all of the text to be resized. Okay. And so, of course, I can freely move my text around. But what you'll see, folks, is that we have some grid lines. If I want to know exactly if it's in the middle, I'm going to see my little ruler. I believe it's a burgundy color ruler that will let you know if it's right in the middle. So it's not my birthday. Tilly's going to change this text to new listing. I'll keep it's time to celebrate. No, let's say it's time to relax. Time to relax. Look at this gorgeous house. Who doesn't want to relax in something cozy like that? And of course, you would want to add all the details. So it's not a yacht club. Let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 3 Street. Toronto, Ontario, if you will. All right. And just like before, we can change the color. As you can see, font up the type. Now, I know I chose a preset font, but who knows? Perhaps you want to change something just a little bit from it. You have those capabilities right here. You can change the font type, the font size, the font color, right? And spacing and more. Okay, so we can keep it nice and simple. But to me, it's still a little bit plain, if you will, plain Jane. So now, what if we want to spruce things up? What if we want to add a little zazz to it, right? Make it pop. This is where I want to take your attention into elements, right? We got the photos, we got the template, we got the text. Now let's make it pop. So what can we do to make things a little bit more vibrant? Change the color, add some images, some designs, if you will. This is where the element factor comes in. Okay, so what we have here, folks, are frames. I'll start off here with frames. Now, of course, there are charts and graphs, but that is a little bit out of our design scope for today. I'm going to show you what frames do. Frames, as you can see, looks very similar to our grids. So if I inserted perhaps this scallop shape frame, I'm just going to resize it here, right? Scallop shape frame. It has that cartoon landscape in the back, right? Similar to what we had here on the right-hand side. The cool thing about your frames, folks, is if you want to insert a photo into that frame, you can. So let's see, what do we have here? Perhaps I want to bring my Royal LePage into that special frame. look what it's going to do. It's going to insert itself in. Now, mind you, I know it's cutting things out, but I just wanted to give you the visual there. You don't like that photo? No problem. You click on the image, top right hand. Nope. Sorry, click on the image. You'll see that it's full, and then you can delete it. Other options as well, folks, is that you can use your keyboard shortcuts. So let's say you've highlighted the image, you press the backspace, and you can remove it. Okay? Now, coming back to our design here, I'm just going to go back up to my elements here on the left-hand side. Elements will always give you those design options. Shapes. Shapes are basically what you think they are. They're shapes that you can insert into your design. Gradients are different types of banners, if you will. So if we wanted to insert a fun-looking banner, let's say, time to relax, add a little swoosh, if you will. Just a pop of color here. But let's say, oh, Tilly, I like that swoosh. Can I put it behind my time to relax? Oh, but it's covering it. But let me show you a fun tool here, folks. Let's say I like the swoosh, but I want it behind. I want it in the background. This option at the top here, folks, position, gives you that option. Move something to the back, move something to the front. So this is where, let's say I said, put it in the back, put it backwards, and now it's behind my text. So it's as if it was in the background all this time. Right? Oop, my apologies, I deleted my background, but that actually works to my advantage because I wanted to change the color. So let's say, all right, let's add some color, but it's almost too powerful. That color is too powerful. You can work with the transparency. So look what I'm doing here. Now, mind you, with the transparency, folks, it's also going to be changing the transparency of your entire design. Okay, so what if you don't want your entire design to be transparent? This is where you can look at the colors again. Perhaps you don't want it to be so vibrant. You can try working with the options here, right? So we can make it a little bit more relaxed, if you will. Okay. Perfect. Now, moving down our elements here, and once again, folks, I won't be able to cover absolutely every single element, but the whole point is to give you some quick ideas of what you can work with. Now, like I said, please take time to get comfortable with Canva. This is something you want to incorporate into your business. I will show you an area where there are great tutorial and Canva courses. They're actually pretty well timed. It won't take you hours. They're saying, your intro course will be about 30 minutes, give or take. So I'll show you where we can find all of that information. Now, I will show you illustrations because sometimes we want to put in some designs into the background, for instance, or just add some more detail to the design itself. So let's say I want to incorporate some flowers, right? I'm typing flowers at the top, and this is using the Canva internal library. Now, this is important, folks, because anytime you're going to be using one of Canva's, let's say, elements, designs, photos, there are free options, and then there's the paid options. So for those that went to the workshop, I'm certain we've covered this. You'll see, and I'm just going to zoom in again for you folks. So let's say I'm hovering over this design right here. All right, I see that it's free. Some of them will have a little $sign, right? It's a premium image. So part of the free Canva, if you select a premium option, it will ask you to pay for it when you go to download. Okay. Now, I'm just going to zoom back out and show you what I'm talking about here. Perfect. Sorry, folks. My Google was not resizing. So let's say we find a premium, right? This is a premium, and I insert it. What we're going to see here, folks, are watermarks, right? It says, let's remove the watermarks. Because when we go to download, it says, well, this is a premium product. You can't download it unless you pay for it. So to remove any of the watermarks, you'll have to pay for it or upgrade to the pro version. But I like free. There's tons of things that we can do to leverage free. So I'm going to choose this design. So it's a nice outline of a flower. You know, perhaps I just want to insert it right here, but I don't want it to be fully black. Perhaps I want to change the color to make it a light gray, for instance. And now we can see a design in the back. This is actually a lot of fun, folks. I love playing with all of my designs. Once again, we can change the orientation. We can rotate it, move it to the back, for instance. And once again, highlight, change the color, and such, right? So now it's looking a little bit better. All right, let's rock and roll. I like this design. What can we do with this design, Tilly? We've designed something. What can we do with it? Well, downloading it first would be a good choice. So downloading it is just downloading it local to your computer. You're going to see some options here. We have our PNG, JPEG, PDF. We have a video, even if you opt for that as well. You have that option here. What you can also do with this design, folks, is print it. So Canva does have a print option similar to Vistaprint, for instance. I've worked with agents who actually like to design their Christmas cards or their birthday cards that they send out to their clients. They'll just design it within Canva and get Canva to print them for them and then ship it out. Okay. Other options here, folks. All right, we can still download, or we can actually post directly to our Facebook group. So let's say I want to post this to our Royal LePage Learning Services. I'm already connected. Connecting takes 2 clicks, very quick. Folks, I would strongly recommend, if we are going to be using Canva, just connect all of your social platforms initially. So once you or your team get started, nice and quick and easy. Perfect. So if I go back, right? So let's say I want to go home. What's going to happen? It's going to take us back here into our main dashboard. I don't lose my design. I don't. We're going to see right here on the left-hand side, folks, all of your designs. Right here, it's time to relax. Perfect. Perhaps I want to rename this, right? This was 1233 Random Street. Okay. And at any point, once again, folks, you can always jump back into any of your previously designed work or templates that you're working with. So now that I showed you how we can create something from scratch, let's utilize a template. Because sometimes we won't have the ability to, or the time, let's say. Perhaps we're going to meet a client to get them signed. We can actually show up ready with a feature sheet or just listed. You could have all the designs ready, have it on your mobile. So that's going to be the second part after our template that I'll show you. It's just a very quick way to show folks that you're ready for business. So let's work with our template here, folks. I just went back to my main dashboard, and I'm going to say, let's get started with creating a design here. Now, we worked with a flyer, but what I love about Canva is, perhaps I'm in real estate. Do you have any real estate templates? They do. It's amazing. I love that half the work is just, or pretty much all the work is just done for us. All we need to do is insert our photos, add our own text with the address, ready to fly. So with our real estate templates, right, we have a real estate brochure, we have a real estate business card. And once again, folks, when you hover over the options, you're going to see the dimensions, the sizes here. Okay. I'm actually going to work here with a real estate flyer. So once again, 8.5 by 11. It opens up that new tab for us, so we're not losing our previous page. But this is where we're really going to leverage the template option, right? So same options are here on the left-hand side. Template's always the one that we default to. As you scroll through, you're going to see tons of options here, folks. Lots of great stuff to work with. I'm going to choose urban living here. I'm just going to choose this first option. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I see a theme here. This is, if you might notice, if I remove absolutely everything from my grid, what do we get here? It looks similar to what I did in my old design, right? Exactly. All of these templates were built off exactly what we worked off with the grids and such that I showed you in my previous one. So I removed the images, right? So I have all the same format as we see in my template, but now I just want to upload my own photos. Once again, folks, you can upload your own custom photos here. Or let's say, can we utilize Canva's library? Absolutely. Left-hand side here, folks, underneath your templates, you're going to see a photo option. And this is where you would just type in, I guess, the type of photo that you want. So let's say if I put, nature, for instance, okay, we're going to see tons of nature photos. So now I just want to show you once again any of the pro version, right? The dollar for the image, one that you have to pay for. The watermark that I was talking about is this, right? So it has the crisscrosses and it has Canva. Obvious reasons we have the technology to do screen capture. So of course they're going to embed that watermark on the photos just to make sure that we are protecting the artist's copyright laws and such. So please be mindful of that, folks. Okay. And just come back here. Remember to remove a photo, you highlight it so you can see the outlines. You can use the garbage option or the backspace on your keyboard. All right, so I'm just going to insert my photos here. Right, to resize, we can double click and adjust. Nice and easy. With the text, folks, like I said, anything we click on, we have our edit bar at the top where we can modify the text. Perhaps I want to change the color, not a fan of this color, but maybe I want to do a red. What if I have my Royal LePage icon I want to insert? Very simple, very easy. Just going to resize it to make it a little bit smaller. And just move it down to the bottom. Okay, and if you want to make sure that it is positioned correctly, you have this position option here on the left where you can align it to a particular area. All right, and just like before, perhaps we're ready to share. We can share with our social media, or once again, we can download it. All right, so how's everyone doing here? I see that our chat is on fire. I'm loving it. Lots of questions. Lots of questions. Perfect. So, folks, let's talk about our teams here, right? So we've created our design. We have our profiles ready. And perhaps we're looking to do teams. How do we get started with teams? Now with teams, let's say if I'm working on my design, I'll just come back here to my urban living design. This share option at the top, which is really nice because even without creating a team, you can actually just share a design. So let's say you're working with another individual, you send it out to them. Hey, what do you think of ABC? The nice thing is, folks, you can send a edit link or just a view link. Don't touch anything. Just tell me if you like it. So this is the nice thing about sharing out your design. Creating a team is quite easy, folks. I'm just going to come back here onto my homepage. Going up here, top left-hand corner into your profile, you're going to see account settings. At the top here, billing and teams. Okay. You can create all of your teams here at the bottom. Now, be mindful. Please be mindful when you are creating a team. And let's say, oops, I created a couple of teams by accident. I only wanted one. Canva does not let you delete your team on your own. You have to put in a request with the Canva support for them to delete one of your teams. And that's exactly what Miss Tilly did. I created two teams by accident. I got too excited here, folks. So I just renamed one of my teams. I said Murphy for the win to know that this is my primary team. But let's say you have multiple teams that you're working with. You can toggle between your teams very easily here in your account. Okay, so sharing out with a team, very easy. Also on mobile, very easy to share out to your social media and your team members as well. Okay, so folks, hopefully that would give you a great opening for the desktop version, if you will, of Canva. What I'm going to do here, folks, is jump into the mobile version of Canva. Okay, so with mobile, we have it available for both Android users and Apple users. If I can put sort of any recommendation here, folks, my suggestion would be to create an account and your first few designs using the desktop version, just because it gives you more access, more capabilities. Quite frankly, my iPhone screen is just too small for me to manipulate the way that I would like to manipulate, but that's just personal for me. If you folks have, let's say, a tablet you're working on, or you feel very comfortable navigating on your iPhone or Android device screen, by all means, I'm not going to stop you. You do what works for you. So let's start off here with our Android users. So this is where you would go to the Google Play Store. It is free to download, right? So when you download, if you are opting to sign up via mobile, you can use it the same way, Facebook, your own email, or Google. Oop, my apologies. Right? You can use your Google and put in your email address. Remember, folks, the email address that you use to create your account is going to be your account profile name. Now, when you do log in, it obviously a little bit different than the desktop version. This is going to give you options to explore the categories. So you can swipe through the middle banner here, or you can go and click on See All. See All is going to give you a list view of all of the categories. What's actually really cool, like as you can see, there's so many options here, folks. And remember, with every option, there's a template, so you don't have to recreate the wheel. Let's say Instagram story. It's not just an Instagram story. There's a subcategory, right? So there's so much that you can work with here, folks. You'll be able to see the templates, and you'll be able to also use their browse function up at the top. So I just typed in here real for real estate. Same options come up on the mobile that we saw on the desktop. And as you can see, the urban living is the first template that we played around with. So everything template wise, you'll see on the desktop version and on the mobile version. Now, it like I said, if this is your first time using Canva and you're not ready to design, never hurts to browse through all of the options just to see what you have available. Okay, so we're going to use this option here, the urban living, and on your mobile, tap anywhere to get started. You can edit absolutely every aspect of it, right? So if we click on the text, I can change the font color, the font size, the actual text font itself. As you can see, as we're just clicking around the screen here, we can reorganize. It's very simple, very intuitive. At the end of today's webinar, folks, I will show you where you can see those Canva design courses. Big fan, big fan. Now, with the photos, the nice thing about the Android phone, folks, is that you do have the ability to access your own internal photos, like the gallery that we see here, or we can actually jump into our Google Drive, right? So huge fan. All of my photos are up in the cloud. All I have to do is select the photo from the folder, click and insert. Exactly what we're seeing here. Resizing is very simple. You tap on the image, use your fingers to enlarge or decrease in size. Big fan. And we have the same elements, the illustrations, the texts, same text templates that we have. Of course, you can add in your own text if you will. If you do the upgraded version to Pro, you can actually import your brand specific texts as well. Now, with the elements here, folks, once again, it's just adding a little bit of more pizzazz, if you will. You can choose any of the images from your own gallery, or you can play around with the elements in Canva. So we have those illustrations, the frames, the shapes, the icons, lots of options here, folks. Same ones that we have available on our desktop version. Now, depending on how deep you get into these design options, some of them are free, some of them will be paid. So once again, just be mindful of what you're inserting into the options here with your design. So now for lines, once again, it's just another little design option that we can put in just to kind of bring some character into the options that we're working with here. The icons, big fans. Once again, just images, lots to play around with. My strong suggestion, folks, review what you're going to be inserting because you don't want to add too much. You don't want to bring in too much into your design. Now, I'm using the illustration option here again. I'm just adding flowers similar to what we just saw on my desktop version. Now, I'm using my fingers, so please don't mind my orientation, but it was a white design. And as you can see, I've changed the color. I'm going to bring it to maybe a burnt orange, playing around with the positioning here. And just like before, do I want to zoom in, zoom out, push it to the back, push it to the front? Do I want to play with the transparency? Maybe because it's just too vibrant, for instance, that orange was just too vibrant. We can bring it down a notch just so it's just sitting in the background. Now, sharing your designs, right? So I just clicked on the share option. Tilly can share with her teammates. So anyone that I invited to my team will be able to get access to my design. Or as you can see, let's say I just want to send it directly to a social media platform and just download it directly to my phone. The nice thing, again, with any of your Android devices, you have the option of saving it actually straight to your G Drive. Awesome. We always try to make it as easy as possible, right? So that's working with Android. All right, let's switch over to our iPhone users, Apple iOS users. So of course we would have to go to the Apple Store, the App Store to download. Once again, it's free for everybody. So similar to our Android, when we open up our Canva app, we'll log in, or you, of course, can sign up using Facebook, Google, or your personal details. And when we log in, the dashboard's a little bit different than Android, but of course, you still have all the categories you can browse. You have that option here just to go through the different designs. Or, of course, right up at the top, you're going to see your search bar. Right? So just going here to real estate. Same as before, I'm choosing a real estate flyer here, keeping it super simple. We're just going to blow through this because it's the exact same features. Nothing is different at this aspect, whether it is Android or Google. I'm just inserting some photos here, folks. I chose a different design because I wanted to make it a little bit special here. And now we can see, ooh, this looks a little bit more profesh. I like it. I do want to inquire, what's up? Very exciting stuff here. Now, with the elements, as I was mentioning here, folks, you have the same elements so you can adjust the text, the size, the orientation, the color. You could really go and have some fun with this here. But of course, I like to keep things simple. If the template has it as is, maybe I just want to readjust a photo here and there. And such, just like what I'm doing on our screen. Now with transparency, as I mentioned, transparency gives it that washed out look. Sometimes you do have that option depending on the template that you're working with. So just be mindful, folks, when you're working with your elements. All right, so preparing our design, same options, you can save it. Right, so save it to your phone. Now, folks, because this is an Apple phone, you can save it only to your camera roll, or you can share it with a team member, or as I'm going to show you right here, perhaps I'm ready to post this to my Instagram. Right, so I've linked my Instagram. And what it's going to do is say, is it a story or feed? So a story is something that's going to be available for 24 hours. And your feed is going to be available indefinitely on your page until you delete it or do something else with it. But I'm just adding a little GIF here, an animation. I'm going to post this to my story. I'm going to say, folks, I want to let my entire network know this is just listed. Pure luxury. Inquire today. All right, folks. So before I get into the question aspect, I did want to show you very quickly where we can find additional resources to leverage from what I showed you today. Design School. So I'm here on my home page. I want to show you this Design School. If you are serious or just interested in learning a little bit more about Canva, they have done half the work for you. Once again, Design School is just going to say, I have some courses that I want to take. Perhaps I want to learn the basics of graphic design, or even better, building or branding your business, presenting to impress, or what I would suggest, folks, Canva for beginners. Do you have 15 minutes? I hope you do, because this is going to show you 6 lessons, start course, and they break it down super easy. And you can definitely leverage it from what we just learned today. It gives you 6 lessons, introduction to Canva, learning how to upload photos and such. So Design School, strongly recommend. If you just need some help, they always have the help available bottom right, where you can search for helpful tips, features, or if you have any issues with your Canva. All right, folks, let's turn it over here to the chat window for any questions. Okay.
We've been pretty active in answering them.
Perfect. So Mike has informed me that he has been on the ball, getting all of the questions answered. Now, for any teams, let's say, that are using Canva, what has been your experience thus far? Is it worth it? Do you find it easy to use? Any pain points? I'm a big fan of Canva. I've been enjoying it almost a little bit too much. When we were doing our vision boards, I got very excited about it. Let's see here. We have a question. Where do you find the Royal LePage banners to insert into your post? For sale sign. Oh, that's a great question. So actually, let me go into my presentation again. I'll show you. So for Instagram, for instance, when you are on your page, so I'm just going to go back here. So this is when I'm ready to post to my story. At the top here for Instagram, you do have some elements you can work with. So this one right here, universal sign for actually downloading an image. Let's say we're working on a post and we want to just save it to perhaps use for later. We can select this option. The smiley face with the little stars is a filter that you can apply. But what you're going to be looking for is the square smiley face with the flip at the end. This is going to give you this screen. So either you can use the icon at the top. I believe for a touch screen, you can just swipe from the bottom up. So it's a finger movement. Bottom up swipe will bring up this option. You can type straight into the search field. What I opted to choose was the GIF option, right? And then I typed in Royal LePage. Sorry, let me come back here. I typed in Royal LePage and I chose one of the options that I saw here. They are bilingual, English and French. And it inserts itself and I just moved it with my finger and I can change the orientation as well. And when we're ready, we click the send to so we can post to our story. Other option is also just actually clicking on post to your story if you'd like, but both options work. All right, folks, we still have a few more minutes here. Any further questions? All right, here, folks. So what I want to show you. All right, so we would like to know how we can add her social media profile. Perfect, that's a great question. So I'm just going to come up here. I'm going to go into a design, what we have available. Let's just say I'm going to use this one. When we go, folks, to share, for instance, right? We can download Facebook group, Facebook page, for instance, or Twitter. Here's where you can link it, right? So I clicked on my Twitter option. I haven't linked my Twitter. This is where you can go to connect your Twitter. And it would just ask you to log in and provide your authorization to the app. Okay, so once again, top right-hand corner when you're working on a design, when you're ready to publish. If anyone is interested in the Pro version, I just want to show you where we can get some details, for instance. On our homepage at the bottom, what we have available here is the upgrade. So it looks like a little crown. They do give you a 30-day trial, and you'll notice as you're interacting with all of the free versions and templates. Periodically, they're going to give you a pop-up and saying, are you enjoying Canva? If so, try the pro version. If you don't want to, no problem. You can click on the maybe later, but the try it for free gives you all of the billing details as well. Lots of great info available here for you folks. Always a pleasure working with Canva. Like I said, we initially showed you folks how to create a vision board in Canva. Hopefully you folks have tried to put some time into your vision boards. It's always a good idea to know exactly the path that you're setting yourself out on. But to each their own. So let's see here. Can you show how to take an existing flyer and just add, or an add just sold banner? Robert Wang, that's a great question. Let's pull up a design here that I did. Let's say right here. I'm going to open up my edit. So there's a few ways, right? So of course we do have our Royal LePage marketing. So of course, folks, and Robert, let me show you. When you're working on a design, you can insert your own photos. So there's that little cloud option here on the left-hand side, and you can upload your own just sold, for instance, or you can leverage an element. For instance, an element allows you to put in a design option. So I'm going to just type in just sold, right? Lots of options. So let's say, all right, Tilly's going to insert this one. As soon as I clicked on it, it inserted itself here in the center, but you can adjust, you can resize, right? Other options, if we want to get perhaps into a little bit more of intermediate designing, at the bottom here of our left-hand side here, folks, 3 dots, you can insert additional options such as YouTube videos. You can pull in your Instagram or Facebook, Facebook photos, even GIFs, right? So it's a moving image, if you will. Just sold. Perhaps not the best, not the best in this instance, but I would leverage the element option here. Okay. Lots of options. And Robert, just as you mentioned, you arrived a little bit later. There are free images and options in Canva. And then there's also paid premium options. Okay. So just be mindful of those details. Okay. Perfect. All right, folks. So it's just after the top of the hour. I'd like to thank everyone so much for taking the time to join us here today on our Canvas for social posting. Thank you so much, folks. We are available for any questions. If you do have some, feel free to reach out to customer care. My name is Tilly Murphy, as part of the Learning Services team here for Royal LePage. It has been my pleasure assisting you folks today. Thank you so much.